COSM continues to touch the targets that we were talking about in the previous session. Let's go ahead and find out what the potentials could be for the coming sessions. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again on this Hump Day Wednesday. This is ARCa coming at you with a COSM technicals and raw price action threat of analysis. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, so we're looking at COSM on the daily chart here, and I actually just wanted to touch on a couple potentials here. I'm not suggesting that we're going to continue to the downside, but I would just like to express the targets that are the targets that are being presented by the formations that we're looking at here. For example, this descending triangle. Okay, so the descending triangle actually has a formation price objective, and you can take that from taking a trend line from the hypotenuse of the triangle down to the lowest point of the triangle, and we apply it to the lower end to catch our price objective. So that price objective actually comes down to about $4.42, and it is very similar to the target that we were looking at regarding our Adam and Eve, or the inverted cup and handle. Okay, so it's actually this trend line right over here, and it's landing right about that 442, 440 range zone. Okay, so what I want to talk about here is in particular to the new support line, to the new support range that we were looking at yesterday. We actually dove right into it and recovered. I like the print of this candle, but because it looks like a hammer candle after a downtrend, so that usually signals a reversal. But what I would like for a candle to look like when it's printed down here is actually with a longer wick to the downside, similar to what happened here in an inverse manner, right? So after an uptrend, when we print what looks like an inverted hammer, in this case it would be called a shooting star. So this is a high quality shooting star, and you can see the huge wick to the upside, and then the downside continues, right? So you can see how small of a wick this one has, so I can't give it that true validation for a continuation to the upside, or I can't give it that credibility just yet. Okay, and now it is a daily print, so tomorrow is going to be an entirely different candle. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to momentum and see what it has to offer for us. Okay, so right away in the 30-minute immediate short-term time frame, we can actually see that we are still suggesting an upside continuation here, and we have been bouncing from that 14-day simple moving average represented by that pink line. Okay, now the 4-hour time is actually still suggesting an upside continuation too. However, it looks a little limited, and that limitation we're gonna go ahead and try to find out where it could be. It looks like the 8-hour candle also shows a bit of a limited upside as well, which is it's normal, right? But we have to find out what those potentials could be. One thing to notice here within the 8-hour time frame is the fact that if we did make our way all the way back up here, we would face a serious rejection, because the 14-day simple is landing right in the gravitational zone of the bull weakness percentile. Okay, so when we're in this gravitational zone, we can actually get pulled back down to the prior zone. So in this case, we would face resistance from not only that 14-day simple, but also the gravitational zone, thus pressuring us back to the downside. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the daily. So the daily overall is still suggesting some consolidation, which, by the way, it's going to be something that we're going to be looking at for the next few days. Okay, and the reason why I'm saying this is because as we get closer to the CPI data release, the price movement will either stay at a kind of stale, right, or we're gonna inflate to the news in hopes to continue on to the upside upon a CPI read, a good CPI read, or a CPI beat, right? So, but if we don't get that CPI beat, then please know that we can actually see some capitulation throughout the broader market space, everything. Okay, so and this actually comes back to my earlier videos and my live streams. Okay, so where I specifically state that trading within these next days is essentially built for more of a seasoned trader, okay, someone who really does understand the market cycles and price movement upon macroeconomic data releases, similar to the CPI. Okay, so if you are a little green at trading, if you are if you're a beginner of sorts, I would highly recommend, as not a financial advisor, to please stay cash. Okay, I think the better opportunities would come after the CPI read. Okay, because trading these turbulent times can absolutely trap beginners. Okay, so please be very careful with what's to come. Okay, so if we're looking at a potential restricted upside, then let's go ahead and take a look at the potentials of this. Okay, so first of all, you have noticed that we broke out of this descending triangle, right? So the typical price movement here, and it's very much in accordance to what we're looking at regarding the momentum, is that we need to come back up and validate the newly converted what was a support into now a resistance. Okay, so likely this is the area that we're looking at for a continuation to the downside. And I'm not saying a downside permanently. In fact, there's been this weird behavior with this formation itself, and I've been noticing it for about a few months now. So we've actually been failing the descending triangle and then succeeding its upside. So it's very curious of what it's been doing, right? So this may be an indication that we are getting prepped for an upside continuation, rather than just the resistance here and continuing, right? So the fact that we're going to face a resistance is there. No matter what, we're going to face a resistance, and we're going to come right back down like this, and then we could potentially continue on to the upside. The sentiment for COSM is still very strong. Okay, so this is essentially why I'm saying this. Another thing is that this price movement that's happening right now, this zigzag up and down on a higher high, higher low basis, is absolutely relevant within a lot of assets. For example, GTII. Actually, you can actually see right over here, we're facing that similar price action in almost everything, right? So we have that zigzag going on. I could actually, I think AMC may actually be facing. Yeah, take a look at AMC. Let me just go ahead and block out the enhanced MACD, and you can see in the AMC price action is also doing that. So everything is kind of rhyming together right now, and it's all because we are all waiting for that CPI economical release, which is essentially going to tell us if we are going to face a heavier a hawkish Fed or a more dovish Fed, right? So this is incredibly important, and the markets are already they're overextended already. So everything is already way overbought. So if we do get a CPI miss, then we can expect a pretty sharp fall, okay? So I need everybody to be very careful with their longs, to be very careful with their green positions. If you are in profit, maybe consider, again, I'm not a financial advisor. Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets whatsoever, okay? You guys, I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be just fine. What I'm trying to say is that if there's a potential that you are in profit of some sort, then maybe consider minimizing the risk, right, in this situation, and or liquidating the positions. It's essentially a gamble to trade within CPI data releases, okay, you guys? So I need you to remember that the links in the description below will point you to TradingView software, to my affiliate link, right? It would help me out greatly if you did start an account with TradingView, and you will find the Twitter and Discord links there as well if you are considering joining the ARCa Bulls trading community. And but with that said, I think that's it for the video. With that said, I wish you well, a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.